Good evening and welcome to the Red Hook Town Board meeting of October 13th, 2020. Would you be kind enough to join me in the Pledge of Allegiance, please? I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America
and to the republic
for which it
stands,
one nation,
under
under
God,
God,
indivisible, with liberty
and justice for all.
Thank you very much. We start tonight's meeting. It's the first meeting of the month. And so we have the Supervisors Report. But first, for the folks at home, let's show the agenda. And we'll share the screen. No, that's not the screen to share. Sorry. Let's try that again. There we go. Tonight's agenda is to review an approval of annual audits. Each of our departments, town clerk, tax collector, the general fund, the justice courts get an annual audit by Lori Doty, and we have those reports to approve. And then we have a little administrative work related to a subdivision that the planning board approved, Sky Park. It's over on Route 199 East. And then we just have a resolution authorizing a transfer of funds from our Parklands account to pay for a portion of our recreational park capital expenses as was anticipated. And then just a little bit of correspondence and public comment. And then we'll be on our way this evening. We also have a public hearing on local law B, which relates to residency requirements and allowing greater flexibility now that we're doing shared services between our officers in the building and zoning departments. We won't be taking action tonight on local law B, and you'll understand in a minute, but essentially we haven't had a return of comment from the planning board yet on the referral, so that any action will have to wait until a meeting in November, our November 9th meeting, but we can take comments, of which we have none so far, or rather we have one so far, and then we can decide whether or not to keep the public hearing open on that. And correspondence and then adjournment. So without further ado, let's go into the Supervisors Report. This is the monthly report of the financials at the end of the period. This period would be for September 1 through September 30. And if you look on your screen, you'll see we started with an opening balance of $6,114,117, receipts of $1,192,413, disbursements of $1,650,000, ending balance of $5,656,000. That's throughout all the funds, all the accounts. And we had some transfers, inter-fund transfers as well. We have some budget adjustments that Ann Conway has prepared for us, many of them relating to the grants and now moving those grant funds out of revenues and expenses into the HW capital accounts, capital project accounts. And these are the adjustments themselves. Some related also to culvert, as we indicated, we're wrapping up those construction projects, the Stony Brook Culvert and the Recreational Park East and West. You also have your variance report, your monthly variance report for the month of September as well. And an updated as of the end of the month, we also have a fund balance report. I think I gave you at the last budget meeting, and that's what the fund balances look at the moment. And it would be reasonable to expect them to decline some more before the end of the year. Okay, that's the supervisor's report. Are there any questions? If not, I would entertain a motion to approve the supervisor's report. Don't all
So
jump
moved.
at once. Thank you, Bill. Is there a second?
Second.
Thank you, Bill O'Neill. Okay, all in favor? Jacob Testa?
Aye.
Thank you very much. Okay, we also have the town clerk's report. Deanna, would you like to give your monthly report, please?
Okay, so the town clerk's report for the period of September 1st to September 30th, 2020. The total local shares remitted to the supervisor, $5,174.50. Amount paid to the New York State Agriculture and Markets for spay and neuter program, $36. And the total state and local revenue, $5,278. And $4,182 was money collected for garbage at the recycling center.
Okay. Thank you very much, Deanna. And would somebody like to make a motion to approve the town clerk's report?
So move.
Thank you, Bill O'Neill. Is there a second?
Second.
Thank you, Bill Hamel. All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Thank you. And I should mention Christine Kane is unable to join us this evening. Okay. Announcements. Just one announcement. Folks are getting ready and making a plan for how they intend to vote. And as many of you already know, there are several options. You can vote by mail. You can vote early voting, and you can vote at your usual location. And I say that knowing that we did request that there would be an alternate location for town hall, given that there could be upwards of 1,200 voters interested in voting in this less than 900 square foot space. We have not heard back from Board of Elections, rather. I know that the school district has welcomed the middle school gymnasium would be an option. And so if Board of Elections does make that change, they will send out a mailing to voters in District 7 and 8, advising them of such. And we will, of course, have it on our website and do a news alert. And early voting. Many folks are interested in doing early voting. If you are comfortable voting in person, this may be a good option for you. It would not only allow you an opportunity to vote on one of 9 days, but it also is likely that you'll have a shorter line depending upon when you go than if you were to vote on election day. And the more people that vote early voting, obviously, then the less folks are on the line on November 3rd. So it helps not only you, but it helps out your neighbor who may be nervous or apprehensive about voting in person. So these are the dates and times. And just so you know, the one Northern Duchess location for early voting, Rhinebeck. The address is here. And there are 4 other locations, the Board of Elections itself, in Poughkeepsie, Boardman Road, the library there, Millbrook Firehouse, Fishkill Town Hall. You could vote at any one of those locations, and you can vote in person by the same machines that everybody uses here on election day. So that's the one announcement I have. Does anybody else have any announcements? Okay. If not, why don't we, how are we doing for time here on public hearing? Why don't we go ahead and Deanna, could I ask you, would you be kind enough to read the public hearing notice, please?
Okay, notice of public hearing, local law number B, Tuesday, October 13th, 2020. Notice of public hearing, please take notice that a public hearing will be held by the town board of the town of Red Hook on Tuesday, October 13th, 2020 at 7:45 p.m. local time at the town hall, 7340 South Broadway, Red Hook, New York, 12571, to hear all interested persons on a proposed law entitled, quote, "A local law to update qualifications and procedures for building and zoning office staff, amending the following chapters and sections of the town code, chapter 25 entitled Officers and Employees, to establish residency requirements for the offices of zoning enforcement officer and building inspector / code enforcement officer and their deputies and assistant inspectors. Chapter 74 entitled Fire Prevention and Building Construction, to modify provisions regarding assistance to the building inspector / code enforcement officer and appearance tickets. Section 143 to 129 of the zoning law entitled Designation of Enforcement Officer, Coordination of Application Processing Fee, to modify provisions for assistance to the zoning enforcement officer, and section 143 to 133 of the zoning law entitled Penalties for Offenses, to modify provisions regarding appearance tickets, the proposed local law. The proposed local law would modify the provisions of the town code of the town of Red Hook for the appointed offices of zoning enforcement officer and building inspector / code enforcement official, including requirements for residency, the appointment of deputies and inspectors under their supervision and control, and the powers and duties thereof. Due to the ongoing COVID pandemic, the town hall is closed to the general public until further notice. Pursuant to Executive Order number 202.1 as extended, issued by Governor Cuomo, and advisories issued by federal, state, and local officials related to the COVID-19 virus, the public will not be permitted to attend in person. Board members are expected to participate in the public hearing via teleconference or video conference. Please refer to the meeting agenda to be posted on the town website at www.redhook.org, listing the specific link which will allow the public to view and listen to the proceedings live, which is expected to be available at www.pandatv23.org. Click on Watch Live. Project documents will be posted with the meeting agenda on the town's website. All interested persons will be given an opportunity to be heard as follows. 1, the public is encouraged to submit written comments by email or telephone in advance of the hearing to rmckeon@redhook.org and 845-758-4622 by 4:00 p.m. the day of the hearing. Please note local law B proposed of 2020 / building and zoning in the subject. 2, written comments may be dropped in the town's Dropbox in advance of the hearing at the Town Hall, 7340 South Broadway, Red Hook, New York, 12571 by 4:00 p.m. the day of the hearing. Please observe the recommendations of the CDC regarding distancing and use of masks. 3, all comments so received in advance of the hearing will be noted in the hearing record. Interested persons may also comment by email or telephone to rmckeon@redhook.org and 845-758-4622 on the date of the hearing from the time of opening the hearing until the close of the hearing. All reasonable accommodations will be made for persons with disabilities. In such a case, please notify the town clerk in advance at the above address or by phone 845-758-4606 so that arrangements can be made. By order of the Town Board of the Town of Red Hook dated September 23rd, 2020. Deanna Cochran, Town Clerk, Town of Red Hook.
Thank you, Deanna. And the purpose of the law is to modify our regulations to allow for officers who don't reside in town of Red Hook proper in order to fill in or to do some enforcement or zoning work on a property that is in the town of Red Hook. We actually have several properties that there's a property, rather a municipal boundary line that goes through it. And so this would also assist with that as well. So at this time, I'd like to open the public hearing. It is now 7:45, and we did receive one comment, written comment from Anthony Wilson, and his letter to you is included, but he's advocating for the passage of proposed law Article 2512, and I won't read the whole thing, but he talks about how without the residency restrictions, the town will have access to a greater pool of candidates. And by currently restricting those positions solely to town residents, the existing law makes it harder to find not only qualified but impartial individuals. And he advocates for the fact that when it comes to enforcement, perhaps it's better with somebody who's not a town resident and somebody who doesn't know, many folks within the community. Okay, that's all we have for public comments. Chris Shaw, did you want to add anything to what I said about the proposed law?
There we go. No, I think that's a good summary. We're just trying to provide for some additional options for these enforcement matters and to clarify a few provisions.
Yeah, and it will help us if we have somebody out of the office for whatever reason, we can have somebody cover. All part of sharing services with the municipalities. Okay, since there are no other public comments, and we did not receive yet back from the planning board, but we can go ahead and close the public hearing on this, and I would recommend that we do that, and then we will take this up on our next meeting, but November 9th. That will allow the planning board additional time to send back the referral. So at this time, I make a motion that we close the public hearing. Is there a second?
Second.
Okay. Without any further comment, all in favor, Bill Hamel,
Aye.
Jacob Testa.
Aye.
Okay, thank you very much. Let's jump right into, we don't have any public comments. Let's jump right into audits. Just for the folks at home, we get audited each year. We get audited every several years by the comptroller's office. We hire an independent auditor to review. They do not only spot checks, but they check all the finances of the various departments, our courts, a town clerk, town tax collector, the general fund. And so we have those audits. The board has had a chance to review those. Do you have any questions, folks, on that? Okay. Just so you know, we had an additional audit because the tax collector did change, so we have a partial year audit. Okay, if not, why don't we go ahead and approve the audits? I make a motion that we do so. Is there a second?
Second.
Okay, Bill O'Neill got in there first. Without further discussion, all in favor, Bill Hamel,
Aye.
Jacob Testa.
Aye.
Very good. All right, quickly moving along, we've got number 2, resolution granting approval to the final subdivision plan for Sky Park subdivision. And this was a 4-lot subdivision for the former Sky Park on Route 199 East that the planning board approved, but there's actually some work that the town board has to do. And Chris, do you want to take a minute and just explain the approvals that we have in front of us tonight?
Yes, the planning board approved this project subject to a number of conditions, most of which were related to environmental review that they conducted as part of seeker. They identified wetlands and visual impact areas, and I believe it was a Blanding's turtle habitat, so that they required as a condition of the subdivision that the owner identify some provisions in a declaration to be placed on the property, which would mean there are certain restrictions they have to observe going forward to satisfy those conditions. So it is the town board is then made a party to that declaration with the right to enforce it. So because it's a real property document that gives the town certain rights, the town board is the one that would need to accept the declaration and execute the declaration to put it of record. So that is the resolution that's before you, is to accept and approve that declaration.
And did you want to point out a couple of highlights for us?
Let's see. So of the agreements,
Yeah, the agreements. They talk about non-infringing upon habitat areas, landing turtle.
right? It creates a building envelopes similar to the way that an easement would work. It creates some areas where they cannot build, so as to avoid impacting certain environmentally sensitive areas. And it identifies a building envelope for the house sites. I believe there are 4 lots in this subdivision, as I recall. Right.
It also restricts no further subdivisions.
Correct.
And that's marked on the plat. Okay, so we have 2 declarations here. One is restrictions for lot number 1 within the Sky Park subdivision. We have a resolution for that.
We have a resolution that covers both of the declarations. So
Approving execution of declarations regarding Sky Park subdivision. And Deanna, what resolution number would this be?
46.
46, okay. Approving the execution of declarations regarding Sky Park subdivision. The Town of Red Hook Planning Board adopted a resolution back on June 1st. And so the town board has considered the declarations and all available information and believes the execution of the declarations is in the best interest of the town. And I so move resolution number 46. Second?
Second.
Thank you, Jacob. All right, all in favor? Bill Hamel?
Aye.
Thank you, Bill O'Neill.
Aye.
Thank you very much. Okay, we have just one other item on the agenda. It's a resolution authorizing a transfer of funds from the Parklands account to pay for recreational park capital expenses for the folks at home. When a developer comes in and subdivides property, they are required to either provide recreational space or a fee in lieu of those recreational lands in order to help pay for the additional demand that may be placed on recreational properties in our town. As you know, we've expended a fair sum of money on a multi-decade needed upgrade of our recreational facilities. And so this is how we help to pay for that. And so monies have accrued in the Parklands fund. And so we have a resolution to transfer $65,000 over in order to help pay those bills, if you will. And this would be resolution number 47. All right. Deanna, okay. Very good. Dated October 13th, 2020, authorizing the appropriation of monies from Park Trust Fund. Be it resolved by the Town Board of the Town of Red Hook, Dutchess County, by a favorable vote of not less than a majority, authorizes the following transfer of $65,000 from Parklands Trust to the A Fund to pay capital expenditures for acquisition and installation of Red Hook Rec Park facilities, including the storage shed, dugouts, maintenance equipment, batting cage equipment, and a security system. This resolution shall take place immediately. Is there a second? Did I ask for that already? No. Second. Bill Hamel.
Second.
Bill O'Neill's in there. Okay, any further discussion? If not, all in favor, Jacob Testa,
Aye.
Bill Hamel.
Aye.
Thank you very much. Okay, we are almost at the conclusion of our very short meeting. We have just one item of correspondence. This is from the planning board, and this is just to note we won't be taking up this topic tonight. We'll do it at our next meeting in conjunction with our attorney and also with our highway superintendent, because it involves entrance from a either a private road or a common driveway. So, but it is correspondence from them. It's regarding the open development area application. That is the property on West View Lane, and they are asking to have a fifth house come off of Westview rather than Reed Road. And so the planning board is saying that that should only be approved if it's a private road and it is upgraded to a road standard. So that's something we would want to input.
And Mr. Supervisor, I will note that we are expecting to get a response to that from the applicant before our meeting. So we'll share that when we get it, and then we can discuss that.
Okay, very good. Okay, well, that's all we have for this evening, folks. As promised, it was a pretty quick meeting. Our next regular scheduled town board meeting is Wednesday, October 28th. Hearing no further business, I wish you all good night. Stay healthy. Town hall continues to be closed to the public. We are seeing an increase in cases in New York State and in the Hudson Valley, and we are playing it safe with everyone's health. So we wish you the best. And before we conclude tonight, we would like to just acknowledge this last weekend, a longtime employee, Ted Cudsey, who was the director of purchasing, passed away. Ted was with the town of Red Hook for nearly 3 decades after a career at IBM, and he will be sorely missed here in Town Hall. He was adored by all. So our thoughts go out to the family, and everyone stay well.
Good night.
Hey, Robert, do we have a public hearing tomorrow night?
That's right. Our budget public hearing is tomorrow night, exactly, Bill, at 7 p.m. Okay.
Good night.
Good night.
Good
Thank
night.
you.
Are we going to close the meeting?
Yes, we are. And all in favor, Jacob,
Aye.
Bill Hamel,
Aye.
Bill O'Neill.
Aye.
Good night. Thank you all.